I am happy to see you again today. I came across a really interesting story and I wanted to share with you this story and love to get your feedback. Let me fix this camera just a little bit. And it's about a hole in a sidewalk and how it relates to life. So bear with me as I pull it up here. And basically, it's called an autobiography in 5 short chapters. And the assignment was to write your autobiography in 5 short chapters on 1 page. And the person who wrote this was back in 1977. So I think I was all 6 or 7 years old, and her name is Portia Nelson. And it literally is just a few sentences. So bear with me, and then I'd like to reflect on it and see what you think about it and how you can reflect on it in your own life and see if you find any benefit from it. So chapter 1, I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. Chapter 2, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I still don't see it. I've fallen again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. It isn't my fault. It still takes me a long time to get out. Chapter 3, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's habit. It's my fault. I know where I am. I get out immediately. Chapter 4, I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5, I walk down a different street. So simple words, but such profound thoughts go through my head when I think about this, and then I reflect upon it in my own life and then in patient lives. I feel like, for example, patients who are really struggling to incorporate healthy habits, for example, eating healthy, exercise, decreasing stress, removing toxic people from their lives, whatever it might be. How many of the same sidewalks and holes do each of us on a regular basis fall into over and over again? Even though we see the hole and we know it's coming, we make the choice to dive right in. Sometimes feet first, sometimes head first, and thinking that the hole is not really a hole, but it's still the hole. Right? It's still the habit. It's still the circumstances that we know what the outcome is going to be. So if we think of the whole as a habit or, again, an outcome or circumstances, and we know it's come, we walk down the same street over and over and over again, we really do at the end of the day have a choice. We can, one, choose to walk around the hole and continue to navigate down the same street that might have some additional holes, maybe not as severe, or maybe there were just more some potholes, not the deep hole. Or we can just choose to navigate a whole nother way and go down a different street. And I like to reflect upon this in your values, right? So the street could be a value. The street may never end, but are your decisions, what you're doing every day, really lining up with your values? So I was able to interview Dr. Stephen Hayes, who wrote the book, A Liberated Mind, last week. Oh my goodness, very tickled about that. So I can't wait for you guys to see that podcast. It's going to be amazing. But he developed what we call ACT therapy. And part of that is really looking at your values and aligning your decisions based on your values. So think of a value, be it family, health, independence, whatever that value is for you. Everyone has their own values. And it's the direction and the compass. Like we never fully get to the end of west, right? So if the compass is pointing west, we never stop going west. Like west just keeps, it's infinite. It keeps going. Now, there may be destinations in the direction of west that gets us on down our journey as we go further down. The direction of our value, whatever that may be, that compass. So that's kind of like how I like to look at this. It was, if you're looking at this story and the street is in a different direction than your value, she changed the streets, probably in line with her values, so that she can avoid the holes. And I hope that makes sense. But really, at the end of the day, it gets back to we all have choices. We know what's coming. we need to have responsibility and discipline in our own lives. And it doesn't discount the childhood you had or the trauma, but at the end of the day, we own our experiences and we take responsibility for continuing the same behaviors or leading down the same path that leads to the hole, that leads to the more trauma, that leads to more pain. And even in my own life, growing up in a very difficult home, and it took me until I was 40 to make a decision that ultimately set me free. And I started walking down a different street. And I will tell you, the freedom and peace that comes with making that decision, even though it's hard, is quite rewarding. And I hope that you consider that the next time you see the hole coming up and you're walking down the same street, but you see the hole, you're going to have a choice. You can stop, you can walk around the hole, or you can say, I'm going to make a detour and go down a different street. And this could be anything in your life. Is it hard? Absolutely. Is it scary? Yes, because it's much easier to traverse down the same street that you've been traversing down your entire life because it's familiar. And there's some comfort in familiarity. But at the end of the day, if you want a different outcome, we're going to have to make some different decisions and change our journey and our travel plans. So I hope that you enjoyed this autobiography in 5 short chapters by Portia Nelson. But definitely check it out. Just reflect on it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And I hope it allows you to have the freedom and power to make different decisions and go walking down a different street in your life. Yeah, so that's all I really wanted to share today, is that you don't have to fall in the hole anymore. Okay. Everyone have a wonderful and blessed rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.